This segment is from the Piano Inspires podcast, Season 2, Episode 12, featuring Martha Hilley with host Artina McCain.
And I tell you that when I went to UT to interview, I was terrified. I was terrified, and I'd had 12 years experience. And I walked in, number one, Hunter March picked me up at the airport and became my best friend. Yeah, forever. I miss him so much now. But he said, you've got a meeting this afternoon with the budget council. And I said, who is that? He said, oh, it's you don't have to know anything about budgets. It's all the full professors. And so he took me to the room where I was going to do this, and I walked in, and there were all of these people sitting behind a U-shaped set of tables, and in the middle of the U-shape was a chair. And I thought, it's the friggin' Inquisition. There was not a table. There was not a glass of water. There was nothing. And so I'm turned around, putting my purse and my briefcase on the floor. And this voice said, so I see you don't have a doctorate.
Who was that? I need to know.
Morris Beachy.
Oh, okay. I don't know him.
He was head of the choral.
Okay.
You know, and I turned back around, and the only person I saw that looked like this voice, because he was taller than everybody else, even though they were sitting. And I said, oh, I'm sorry. I said, I'm so glad you brought that up, because I can save us all a lot of time. I do not have a doctorate. I started one, and that's another story at another time. But I didn't finish it. I don't know if I'll ever finish it. I have a strong national reputation. I'm good at what I do. I'm building an international reputation. And if the doctorate is a game changer, then I will just pick up my purse and my briefcase and say, it's nice to see all of you, and we'll be done with this. Right. Yeah. And about that time, this woman on the other side of the room said, why do my singers have to take piano and theory and history and all of these things? That was Martha Deathridge.
And they probably still say these things today. So well, some of us out.
You know, anyway, she did. And so I started explaining to her, you know, what help it would be for her singers to have some piano skills so they could plunk out their parts and not depend on somebody else and all these things and everything else. And Morris Beachy never said another word. Now, you remember the career goals class you took.
Yes,
and you remember that you've heard all this before.
They haven't heard it, though.
But, you know, the thing that I was trying to get to them is, be careful what you say. When you get that interview, you must be who you are. Don't answer questions the way you think they want them to be answered.
That's good advice.
Because you might get the job. And then what are you going to do?
Right.
Become a new person?
Right, yeah.
I mean, you'd be miserable.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it would be horrible.
Right.
It would be horrible. So I just, you know, and 38 years later, I retired.
Wait. We need to have at least one story in between those 38 years.
Okay.
Tell us something that was really inspiring to you working with group piano at UT Austin, whether it was a student or colleague or just what kept you going. So many people, they don't have such a legendary career like you and so honored as you have.
All
so
right.
how did you keep it
going?
Those
Those of us who teach group piano know that you got so many students that don't want to be there.
Yeah, right.
You really do.
It's hard to stay motivated. Yeah.
So I spent most of my 49 years of teaching group piano trying to win friends and influence people. Not only the students in my class, but my colleagues, you know, because they kind of looked down at those of us that were group piano teachers and pedagogy teachers because you're teaching people to teach what?
Right. Yeah.
What? What do you play? Well.
Right.
Anyway, but to listen to my kids and have them know, you got to be honest with me. And I would be honest with them and say, give me 20 minutes, 5 days a week, where I own you, body and soul and mind. and you'll be astounded at how far you go.
Mm-hmm.
And the ones that took that advice really did better.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm not asking them to spend hours and hours and hours. And I mean, hey, I understand they've got an instrument that they need to be perfect at,
Right.
so to speak, which I hate that word.
Right.
There's no such thing.
Right.
You
Can't
know.
be done. Yeah.
You know, because it's your mistakes that you learn from.
Right. Yeah.
You know, so embrace them, enjoy them,
Right.
make
Enjoy
them, be
them.
proud,
Okay.
be
Enjoy the
proud of
mistakes.
it.
Yes.
You know, and you know, I saw Hunter did Maymisters, which is a 6-week program that happens at the beginning of summer, and you can take a group of students to a foreign country
Mm-hmm.
where you think they will learn something because they're in the country where this happens.
Mm.
Well, Hunter's was to take students to England to hear the choristers, the little boys that sang in the choirs, while the college students sang the alto, tenor, and bass, and the little boys sang the soprano.
Mm.
Okay, these children were amazing. And in a rehearsal, I mean, we got to go to the rehearsals. And I went to several of these to help Hunter with them, just corral the kids. But if you were having a rehearsal and you see these little boys and they put their hands up like this, and after that, I went up to the director and said, what does this mean? He said, oh, they've made a mistake. And I said, they've made a mistake and they put their hand up, but you didn't stop anything. And he said, no, we don't stop to correct mistakes. But they say, I made the mistake and I'll try not to make it again.
Mm.
And I said, so they embrace their mistakes?
Mm.
Well, I could hardly wait to get back to Austin and walk in my piano class the next fall and say, hey, this is what they do in England.
Oh, gosh. Just leave my hand up.
Yeah. Well, and they kind of got to where, yeah, it's
Right.
me.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, that's what you do as a musician. I mean, if you're out on the stage and you make a mistake, do you stop? No, my God, you pray you can improvise enough to get out of it. But yes.
You fake it.
Yeah,
And nobody knows anyway.
Right.
Be sure to listen to the full episode on our website, pianoinspires.com, on Spotify or Apple Podcasts.